And it's still showing everybody, isn't it? Yay, we got it working. Thank you, everybody, for your patience. Some days I can be a little technologically challenged, and I think that that happens in our generation. So, anyway, we are on to night two. Like I said, it took me a little bit today to get. Well, first of all, I don't think I recorded last night, so I had to kind of re-record it. Then I finally got it to post up on Facebook. I'm going to get it up on YouTube, and then people can watch a replay and see it whenever you want. So if you go into my Facebook page, The Wise Widow, and it should be there and you should be able to see it and watch the replay if that's something you're interested in. So anyway, I'm so thankful that everybody came back, and I'm truly grateful that you showed up again tonight. And we need to take a deep breath. Everybody take a deep breath with me and hold it and let it go. Because grief is exhausting. And yet here we are, choosing to heal, connect, and understand. That takes a lot of courage. That takes a lot of courage to be able to do that. So, tonight we're going to talk about something that a lot of widows and widowers struggle with, more than a lot of people realize we struggle with. And it's giving ourselves permission to feel everything and feel all our feelings. We have a really hard time doing that. Sometimes we feel guilty for feeling the way we do, or we get ourselves into a funk and we are giving ourselves absolute beating ourselves up for feeling that way, and we shouldn't, because we have to be able to accept our emotions, and other people need to accept them. And honestly, we cannot control how other people feel or how other people think. So we're not going to worry about other people. We're only going to worry about ourselves. We have to let go of that worry of, oh, so and so is thinking this, or they think I'm crazy, or they look at me weird. You know what? Don't worry about them, because the people that talk are always going to talk. The people that are crazy are always going to be a little crazy. The people that are selfish are always going to be a little selfish. The people that gossip are always going to gossip. You're not going to stop them. So don't worry about them. Just worry about you. Because our emotions are messy, confusing, and uncomfortable enough without us worrying what everybody else is feeling. Because this is about us. We are the ones that are in grief. And we don't have to worry about how everybody else is feeling about our grief. So, grief isn't just one feeling, it's many feelings. And I hear many widows and widowers tell me that they feel guilty for feeling angry, or they feel guilty for laughing, or for having a moment of joy. I shouldn't be happy. How can I be laughing and having fun when I've lost my partner? Or people will say, I feel guilty because I don't feel anything at all. There's no feeling there. But it's not one emotion. It is a great big bag full of emotions, and you could take that bag and shake it and stir it and whatever and stick your hand in, and you might pull out the emotion you're feeling, but chances are you're going to pick out something different. It's a full spectrum. It's every color, and that's normal. I'm thinking many of you have got my free ebook that I sent out, and in that ebook, there's a feeling wheel. And in that feeling wheel, you can see that there's many different colors, many different moods, many different emotions. That can be a very, very handy tool for us to try to figure out where we are and what we're feeling. and give ourselves permission to feel that. So if you have that feeling wheel, I am going to ask you at some point, go in there and do that, and do it not real often, but maybe once a month or maybe every 3 months, and just maybe record it and see how those feelings change in what you are choosing out of that feeling wheel in that ebook that I sent you. And if you don't have the ebook, please reach out to me. Email grief@thewisewidow.ca, and I'll make sure I send you my free ebook. Okay. It has a lot of little helpful tools and different exercises and activities in it that a lot of people have said that it's been very helpful. So try that feeling wheel. It's kind of a nice tool to just check in with ourselves. A lot of people will say to me, why am I feeling this way? Is this normal? Am I doing something wrong? You're not doing anything wrong. You're doing it your way, and it's unique to you, and you are allowed to grieve your way. Nobody has permission to tell you how to grieve because it is your grief. That would be like somebody telling you to change your signature. I don't like the way your signature works. You need to work on that and change your signature. And you're going to say, well, that's my signature. That's who I am. So this is you. This is who you are. You're not going to change your signature. Grief has a way of making us question ourselves, though. We question ourselves at every turn. We question ourselves at every new and different emotion. You might feel angry one moment, numb the next, get overwhelmed by the smallest little thing that never used to overwhelm you, and now it does. And then all of a sudden you could be laughing. Something silly happens and it could make you laugh. And then guilt can come crashing over us like a tidal wave because we laughed. And then the next thing we know, we're crying again. And then we beat ourselves up because, oh my gosh, I can't quit crying. It's very disorienting, but it's also incredibly human. And for those of you who've been on this journey for a while, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. And you're going to know that this is like a vicious circle. And those of you that are possibly new to this path of life, know that it's okay to feel the way you are and do what you are doing. It's not a single emotion. It's a whole bag of emotions. And sometimes there's several of them that are happening all at once. The full spectrum, the full wheel, like in the feeling wheel. And it's always shifting and swirling, and it's unpredictable. It's representing the depth of our love, but also the enormity of our loss. So you have to let it happen because it's the love that is within you for your partner, and it's completely okay. Anger can all of a sudden rise up unexpectedly. What are you mad at? It could be you're mad at certain something that has gone on, a situation, or an unfairness about something, or plans that you didn't get to fulfill. That anger is valid, and you're allowed. And sometimes that anger, just the flip of a switch, can turn to sadness, or vice versa. And the sadness can just sit and feel so heavy on us, like a weighted blanket. And it just feels like it's shaping us throughout our day. And it can be very unnerving, some of these feelings. But we have to allow them to happen. It is a part of our growth. It is a part of our healing. And we're allowed different emotions. Because I challenge any one of you to tell me that prior to your partner passing, did you already not have a mixed bag of emotions? You already did. They're just a little bit more magnified and accentuated now. So allow them. Laughter can just slip out when you have a memory. I can look at a picture and it'll make a smile come on my face. Then I can flip the page and look at another picture and I'll have a tear rolling down my face. And it's allowed. And then if the smile happens or the laughter happens, for some people, this wave of grief comes crashing over them. And it makes us second guess that moment of laughter or that moment of lightness or joy that we had. Some people may feel numbness, that they're numb, just feel numb, and it settles in and it's make us very discontented or empty. And then we start questioning, is there something wrong with me? Am I broken? You're not broken. You're in grief. And you're allowed those feelings. There's a lot of widows and widowers that I've talked to that they are years further in their grief journey than I am. And they've said, Dawn, I've been in 10 years or I've been in 20 years and I still have my moments. And I've had some people tell me, I think back 20 years when my husband passed away, we suppressed it. Society said to suppress it. Well, nowadays, society is becoming a little more educated with grief. And especially since COVID, we are allowed to have our mental health and our emotions come to the surface. It's much more acceptable. And it will continue to become more acceptable. And that's why there's more and more groups like the Wise Widow. That is why I started the Wise Widow, because we need to be witnessed and heard. For some people, a relief may wash over you at certain moments. And then you might judge yourself for it. Some days you might feel, wow, I feel good today. I think I'm really healing. I'm feeling like my suffering is lightening up, or I'm starting to get some nice moments of peace, or some nice moments of quiet. And then we judge ourselves and feel guilty for that. Oh, I shouldn't feel like that. I should still be grieving. I should still be sad. No, you're allowed, because you have to heal. And you're going to heal. Don't suppress your healing. And then there might be moments of peace that show up. The beginning, just small moments. And sometimes those moments of peace will replace those waves of grief or those waves of numbness or those waves of sorrow. And that's a good thing, because then some of those waves are going to come back. So take the peace when you can. Allow the joy to come when you can. Accept the relief from the suffering. You don't have to suffer forever. And if you feel numb or the numbness goes away, allow it. Allow yourself moments of happiness and joy and a good laugh every once in a while. They'll start coming a little more often. And if every once in a while the anger and the sadness and the loneliness creep back up on you, witness them for yourself and allow it. Every color of that feeling wheel and that emotion wheel that's in that ebook that I've sent to you, it's a part of the grieving landscape. Every single color is valid and every single color is allowed. We're allowed to feel our feelings. Grief is not linear. And it's certainly not tidy. It's not predictable. It's not a straight path. We don't say, okay, I started here and in 4 months I should be here and in 6 months I should be here. And it keeps going in a straight path. You know what? It is a jumbled up mess. Grief is messy. You may as well stick it in the blender and turn it on high and see what comes out, because that is exactly where our emotions go. And we're allowed. Don't beat yourself up for it, and don't accept anybody telling you that you have to. There's a lot of people out there that are going to criticize us or try to fix us. I'm going to give you a subtle little tool. Somebody starts to criticize you for something. You could I don't know, say it in whatever tone suits you because you're an individual. Your criticism is not very helpful, but some really good heartfelt advice would be. See how that changes their directive at you and the narrative that they are giving. Because they may not know that you're taking what they are saying as criticism. So you might need to remind them. I'm going to say it again. Your criticism is not helpful, but some heartfelt advice would be very welcomed.
How do you say that though to somebody?
How do you say that?
Well, yeah, like
Just like
we
that.
we take it probably different than they issue it.
Absolutely.
It
And you
hits
know
home.
what? Sometimes people need to get that harsh reality of us saying that to them.
Yeah,
Because what we will end up doing instead with some people is we'll back away from them.
just write them off.
That's right.
That's what I do.
And so sometimes if you said that to them and then
Mhm.
they walked away, that's on them because
Okay.
you've tried to be honest. You've been truthful to them and you have said, you know what? I I I'm having a hard time with the way you're trying to fix me. And maybe it will open a heartfelt conversation. If somebody takes umbrage to it or is upset about it, honestly, it's on them. You're the one that's trying to heal, and you have to heal your way. You
And
can't heal their way.
a lot of people don't understand it. They just want to
Absolutely.
pat, oh, you'll be okay, da, 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 you whatever, because they've never been through anything
I agree
like it with a
100%.
parent or a husband or any of that.
Yep.
So they're just trying to console you, and they think that's their job, and then everything's supposed to be fine, and you're supposed to be perfectly normal. And sometimes you
100%.
can't.
Because we come from a society of fixers, right? Everybody
Mhm.
wants to fix us. And we can't be fixed because we're not broken. How can you fix something that's not broken? I don't consider myself broken. I consider myself grieving. So if somebody is giving me criticism for the way I grieve, or I feel that I'm being criticized for the way I grieve, I'm going to say to them, your criticism is not helpful. Or you might say your tone or the way you're saying it or what you just said was hurtful. It hurt me.
Yeah.
It hurt me. You know what? Some heartfelt advice would help me, but I feel like you're criticizing me and it's very hurtful. Does that make sense?
Okay. Okay.
Sometimes it's hard to say those things to people, but you know what? When I look at it, they are not really looking deep into what they are saying to us.
No.
But then we're the ones that are so fragile. We're worrying about insulting anybody else. Well, nobody really seems to be worrying about insulting us,
They
right?
don't even know they are. That's
That's
the thing.
right. And
Yeah.
that's why I'm saying sometimes you have to give them that bit of a reality check by saying, you know what? It sounded like criticism. It was hurtful. And I just wanted you to know that when you said, I talk about him too much, or I cry too much, or I, whatever they may say, you can say, you know what, like it's hard for me. I'm going through my emotions, and I'm going to allow my emotions to happen.
Okay.
That's, that's my advice. That's my opinion. Doesn't mean that that's what you have to do.
No, but it's a
So,
good,
you know what? If it doesn't work for you, if there's ever anything that I say, remember that what I'm saying is my opinion. And if
okay.
it doesn't work for you, you most definitely do not need to do it, right? So allow things to work for you as your personality permits, because we're all different, right?
Mhm.
So, but thank you. Thank you for your comment. I appreciate that, Wanda. Sorry.
I think another thing is I always feel guilty if I'm happy or if I'm like I have booked a trip now. Now I feel that people think I'm traveling too soon. But I stayed home for 12 years in the very prime of my life to look after him.
And you're allowed.
And if I don't go now, I'm going to be too old to go.
They
So,
call it grief travel.
oh, really? Never
Some
heard of it.
people, well, and I'm going to tell you my story. I don't always like to throw what I've done out there because I don't ever want people that listen to me as a grief educator to compare what they are doing to what I have done.
That's true. Yeah. But
But
it's still nice to
I will
know.
share with you since that's what we've brought up. In the first year that my husband passed away, I
Yeah.
went on 5 trips.
What?
I
Good.
went on 5 trips because you know what? I think I was running away from my grief. I didn't know
Mm.
how to deal with it, and I went on 5 trips.
Did you enjoy the trips?
No, I hated every one of them
See, I don't know yet because I haven't went.
because I think I thought I should go, and I had different friends inviting me, and at that point I didn't. I wish I knew then what I know now. So
I
that
suppose
is
you would.
why I have the wise widow,
Okay.
because I don't think I was ready. It was very, very soon after. Um, but I went. Uh, I'll tell you, the first trip I went on,
Yeah.
my husband died in September of the year that he passed. That Christmas, my kids and I went to Mexico for Christmas because none of us wanted to be home.
Yeah.
But it was a trip that was booked with my husband.
Oh
He was
dear.
supposed to be on that trip.
Oh no. Yes.
So my kids and I went.
Yeah.
And that was the first one. Then I had a friend ask me to go on another trip. And then I went on another trip. And I did. I went on 5 trips in the first year. And I can't really say that I enjoyed any one of them. They weren't, I'm not saying they were horrible, but I think I wasn't ready. They call it grief travel because you're kind of running away. Some people do grief spending. They
Oh
will
dear.
spend, spend, spend and buy
Yes.
things because they think buying things will make them happy.
Yeah.
So everybody's different. Everybody deals with it different. I traveled because I wanted to travel. My husband and we were just getting to that retirement stage. We were going to and all of a sudden he was gone.
Oh dear.
So I think I had it in my head that, you know what, I need to get traveling.
Right.
So you're allowed. Do what
Okay.
you want. And you can't sit and say, this is again my opinion. I hate to see people say, well, I'm not going to go because I don't know if I'm ready. Well,
Oh no, you could wait
what if
forever
you
though.
go, you don't know if you're going to have a great time.
I think I always think people think I shouldn't be having a good time
Well, and like
because
sorry, go ahead.
I'm supposed to be grieving. How can you book a holiday? How can you be smiling. And the thing is you're not all the time, but they see just parts, right?
Because we do it at home, right? We do
Right.
it when other people aren't around. And
That's right.
so I, like I always say, it is none of my business what other people think. And if they want to think it, I can't control what other people think, but I have to do what's best for me. So if going on a vacation is what you need to do, I'm telling you, go do it.
I don't know until I try it,
That's right.
but
You don't know till
that's
you try.
okay. Yeah.
And I after I did all my crazy traveling, I haven't traveled since. I haven't wanted to because
Okay.
those kind of turned me off. But I'm going to start again when I'm ready, and that's
Yeah.
up to me,
Yeah.
and that's
Okay.
allowed.
Hmm.
So, yeah, you know what? Very valid what you're saying, what you're feeling. And you're not the only one. Everybody goes through it.
Hmm.
Because we are not dishonoring our partner if we laugh. We are not dishonoring our partner, or we're not failing them by going and doing things because we're alone now. We're
Yeah.
allowed to continue on.
But we feel so different now. And if you don't do anything, you just sit at home. So
That's
you
right.
got to, if you don't go out and do things, you're going to
Yeah.
have a pretty
Yeah.
boring
So,
life.
but each to their own. Some people, they can hardly get out of bed. And I have had people that I have had in my programs that I do one on one programs with, that I have people that are literally laying in bed while I talk to them because they
Mhm.
just don't have the energy. They just don't have it in them to even get up. So that's what I say. It's so unique for every one of us. You're not failing if you cry. You're never doing anything wrong. Grief is not wrong. And when there's moments of joy, take those moments guilt free,
That's the hard part.
because
Guilt
you're
free.
you're not unloving people
Yeah.
if you feel angry. And you're not cold or heartless if you feel numb. And we're not alone if we feel overwhelmed. Because every spectrum exists. Because this person, we loved them. That's why we're in grief. And
Right.
anything real brings a wide, wide range of emotions with it. And we're allowed to do that. We're allowed to have all of our emotions. And we're going to keep going with our emotions because grief paints our world in waves of color. And it shifts from dark to light and soft to bright and heavy to gentle. None of it means you're moving backwards, nor does it mean you're moving too fast forward. It simply means you're human and you're navigating something profoundly difficult. And you're allowed to do that. You're not unloving them if you feel angry, and you're not unloving them if you laugh. We're allowed all the emotions. You have to give yourself permission to have all the emotions. And really, it boils down to the fact that your emotions do not need permission. Your emotions are just allowed to exist. Your heart is allowed to feel whatever it wants to allow. Because your grief, as I keep saying, is uniquely yours, and there's no wrong way to feel it. You're doing the best you can within the full spectrum, all the colors of grief. And that's more than enough because you're still trying. Every day that your eyes open, when you wake up, you are another little step forward. So there are a whole mixed bag of emotions daily, not even to worry about the holiday season, of the sadness, the anger, the irritability that we might have, which comes out with the people that we're the closest to, is the ones we get the most irritated with. But then there's the guilt, the loneliness, the relief, the numbness, the happiness. But our happiness sometimes can get mixed with our heartbreak. For some people, there's a lot of anxiety and fear, and they're trying to overcome that. So don't downplay the joy or the happiness. Be grateful that it even exists. Be grateful that you can find some joy and happiness. Because sometimes it starts to cause confusion. And when we start getting confused, we start to have self-doubt. And we want to try to keep ourselves in a place that we can trust ourselves. And we should trust ourselves. We should trust ourselves every single day because that is what's helping us heal. We have to trust ourselves to feel our feelings because the feelings don't really need permission. But if you feel like you have to allow yourself that, then allow it. So again, those of you that signed up with the email, and if you're on with me now, you have given me your email and you got the workbook. So we're going to turn to day 2 of the workbook of the activities. And we're just going to take a few moments. So with your notebook or even write on the workbook itself if you want to. Complete the sentence as many times as you need to. I give myself permission to feel. And then there's a bunch of examples there. And I was just talking about them too. And I'm telling you, if guilt is one of those things that you are feeling, don't feel guilty for feeling guilty. Guilt is probably the emotion that does the most harm. And here's why it gives a lot of harm. Because we're feeling guilty about something that happened in the past. It's already past. I can't change it. I can't make it different. So why am I worried about something that happened 5 minutes ago, an hour ago, half a day ago, 2 days ago? I can't change it. So just move forward with it. Explore your emotional guilt. And this is what we were talking about, feeling guilty for the emotions that you think don't fit in. Why don't they fit in? You're in grief. There's a few reflection questions that are in the workbook about emotions that have made you feel guilty. Guilt is such a big thing, and that's why I bring it up. And Wanda, that's what you were talking about. And you hit the nail on the head by bringing it up because it's a lot of what I have going on in today's presentation because it is a huge thing. And I want people to know that it's okay to disregard guilt. Because stop and think about, why is it coming up? What are the expectations, or what are other people's expectations that you have not fulfilled? So now all of a sudden you're feeling guilty. You don't have to fulfill other people's expectations. Their expectations are not a part of your grief. You have to allow yourself to grieve your way. If you could talk to yourself the way that you would talk to a friend or maybe a sibling or sister or somebody that you know that's in grief, how would you talk about feelings to that person? Maybe that's something that you need to ponder. If it wasn't me in grief and it was a friend and they came to me and said, oh, I feel guilty about this, would you validate that and say, yes, you should feel guilty? Or would you be saying to them, you know what? You probably don't need to feel guilty about that. Don't worry about that. So turn the script around a little bit and talk to yourself like you would a friend. This again is some of the exercises, things that I do in my one-on-one programs with people to help them to understand where they're coming at grief. What would you say to your grief? What would you say to a friend? What would you take it off of yourself and put it on someone else, a hypothetical person, if you will, your invisible friend, and just see what would happen with that. The second little exercise that I have in the workbook has to do with naming the spectrum of your grief. And I was just talking a lot about how there's more than one emotion and it shifts and it's a big tornado of emotions and they're all being whirled around together like you've thrown them all in a blender. Some days when you're having that really, really difficult time, grab a piece of paper. Use your feeling wheel that's in the free ebook if you want, or just sit with nothing but your own thoughts and just start writing down as many emotions that you are feeling at that time. Are you sad? Are you lonely? Are you angry? Are you confused? Are you mad at yourself? Are you mad at your partner? Are you mad at a friend or one of your kids or who knows, a sibling? What is it? And if there is an emotion, try to figure out where that emotion is coming from. What caused it or who caused it? And then think about all of these emotions you've written down. The top three, the three that you are feeling the strongest about. Maybe those are the three you're going to want to sit and figure out. Why do I feel so strong about that emotion? And if there's other secondary emotions, witness them, allow them, write about them a little bit if you want, and move on from them for that day. Because you know what? There will be another day that they could come up again. And write them down if you want, or just sit quietly and think about it. Some people will need to go for a walk, and while they're walking, they get this out of their head because they need movement. Movement is healing. And so it's very important to try to move and do a few things. And I don't mean exercise. Some people hate exercise. Other people love it. Some people take up yoga. There's actually a fella by the name of Paul Dennison, and he actually, in a way, he has invented, if you want to call it that, grief yoga. And there's things that he does. And I actually bought his book and I will share it with you. I'd have to go digging to get it. And so I don't want to do that. Maybe I'll pull it up tomorrow and show. And you can get it on Amazon or whatever. And it's actually quite a nice book that it's just a few little exercises to help you release some emotions and some feelings. The third thing I want to talk about is when joy appears. Because we did talk about that a little earlier, and now it being in the workbook, because joy and laughter can create that feeling of guilt because we feel it's wrong. And then we get confused about it. And why did I laugh? I shouldn't have laughed. Oh my gosh, I shouldn't be laughing. Yes, you should. You're allowed. You're allowed. And then when that happens, that you have feelings of wrongdoing or guilt about laughter, sit down again and reflect about the things that make you smile, bring you joy, make you laugh. What were you doing, or who were you with, or what was the memory? And witness it, allow it. And then think about the guilt that follows and try to address that guilt. Why did I feel guilty for that laughter? What brought on that guilt? What other emotion is in there that's making me feel that guilt? Because there's something valid there, and maybe it needs to be witnessed by you. Again, these are some of the things that I deal with in my one-on-one programs with my people so we can talk it through and get to the bottom of it. And unfortunately, a 5-day event that I'm doing like this is not the time or the place to do it. I don't really have the time to address people individually. And so if it's something you want to talk about, maybe there's other things that need to be talked about too. And maybe it's something that you might want to sit and think about that, you know what, maybe I do want to do a little bit of one-on-one with Dawn. And I'm not going to ever push anybody into it. I'm going to put out there what I have available, and it's up to you if it's something that you think might work for you. I'm been through enough things on my own, even before my husband passed, that I don't like people that try to push me into buying their products or doing what they're doing. I simply offer it, and if it's something that works for you, and there's sometimes a need that people need to have some kind of a payment plan or whatever, we can do that too. But we will talk about that later. Another thing, the number 4 thing that I want to talk about with emotions not needing permission to just let them happen is understanding our anger. Anger is a very normal part of grief. And sometimes it is the hardest one to admit. Why are you angry? What made you feel angry? Are you angry at your spouse for leaving you? Maybe you need to take a few minutes and sit and witness that. Figure it out. Why does that make me angry? I have told my kids for years and years and years that anger is never an emotion unto itself. Something creates anger. We don't just sit there and get angry for no reason. There's something that creates anger. Either fear that something's going to happen, that can create anger, or something scares us, that can create anger. Confusion and frustration create anger because it creates this emotion, and then we get mad because we're frustrated. Anger is never an emotion unto itself. Something creates it. So I want you, when you get angry, sit down with your feeling wheel and figure out what emotion has caused that anger. What situation or moment is happening right now that has made me mad? Why did that make me mad? For those of you that maybe have kids, think back when your kids were maybe younger and they ran out and ran off the street and there was a car coming, you grabbed them and pulled them back, and then you got mad at the kid. You got mad at them because they scared you. You were in fear of that kid's life. So what is it with your anger in your grief that is creating that? Is it a fear? Did something scare you? What is it? Witness it and try to work through that. There's other questions there that go with it in the workbook that might help you get through it. Sitting through your numbness, that's another one. And we had talked about the numbness. Numbness, feeling nothing, is often misunderstood. Why am I feeling numb? Why am I feeling empty? Look at some of the prompts that come with that in the workbook. Releasing the pressure to grieve the right way. So many of us put that on ourselves. Am I doing this right? Am I grieving properly? Oh my gosh, am I doing this right? There's no correct emotional pattern. There is no stages. People talk about the stages of grief, and I really get into different methodologies of grief and stages or patterns of grief when I do one-on-one with people to make them understand them. There's a lot of different methods, and I get really quite in depth with that with people when I do my one-on-ones so that they can understand the emotional patterns of grieving the right way. And again, allowing yourself to grieve your way, because there's no rules. There's no rules about it. What's holding you back from healing the way you need to heal? The feeling wheel is a great way to be looking at the colors of your grief. And then we have to have compassion towards ourselves. We have to have some self-kindness. We can't go around beating ourselves up all the time. There has to be self-kindness to figure out how we're going to grow around this grief, because this grief is not going to go away, because the love for our partner is always there. We loved them. That's why we're grieving them. So we need to learn to live around that. So, as it says, honoring your love, your emotions exist because your love was deep and real. So let it happen. Let it happen. And then hold every color. The red for anger, the yellow for numbness, the green for, take a look at that wheel and let the colors go. Hold all those colors, hold every one of those emotions, and learn what your grief is about, what is happening with that grief, and because it's allowed to be there. So, again, like I've been saying for half of what I've been talking about tonight, the biggest struggle is the guilt of not feeling festive during the holiday season, or that, oh my God, I feel so bad, I'm crying again. Why am I crying again? Or not being able to keep up with family traditions. We beat ourselves up. Maybe there's a few family traditions that now that our partner isn't with us, we're going to create some new ones. Maybe those traditions are going to be really difficult and pull on us emotionally, that we want to tuck them away for now. And it's okay if we don't do them every year. It's okay to do things differently. Another thing, it is not something to feel guilty about, wishing that the holidays would hurry up and be over. Because there is probably a few of us in this Zoom call right now that felt that way before our husbands passed. So it's completely legitimate to feel that way in grief, that we just want the holidays over with. Give yourself that. Don't feel the guilt over it. But also don't feel guilty when you do feel good. We beat ourselves up when we cry and we're depressed or sad, and then we beat ourselves up when we have a smile on our face and we're happy. So grief is a reaction. We're reacting to an emotion that we had. But remember, your heart is doing the best it can. You're not failing. You're not failing at all. I want us to sit together for a minute. And I want you to think about your emotions. I just want you to pause. We're going to do just a couple rounds of what I call box breathing, that we're going to breathe in for 4. We're going to hold it for 4. We're going to exhale for 4. Hold that for 4. Then inhale. So it's a box. It's a 4 by 4 by 4 breathing. And I want you to name in your head an emotion that you are feeling, possibly now or that you felt earlier in the day. Name that feeling and see if the breaths help to soften it. So sit comfortably, close your eyes if you want, and breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Hold that breath for 4, 3, 2, 1. Let it go. 2, 3. Exhale. Hold the exhale. 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. And hold. 2, 3. Relax. Before I let you go, I'm going to read something to you. This is something that I wrote shortly after my husband passed. You're probably all familiar with the serenity prayer. God, please grant me the serenity. Well, I changed the wording a bit and I made it mine, and I call it the widow's serenity prayer. Please grant me the serenity to stop beating myself up for what I could have done differently, the courage to move forward in my life and always accept what my best is each day, and the wisdom to know that I can only make it through one day at a time without judging myself or let others judge the way I grieve. So I want to thank you all for being here tonight. I want to thank you for feeling your emotions. And remember, they are not a weakness, they are healing. Tomorrow, we're going to shift into something that I think is very deeply needed after I'm sitting here talking about guilt of different emotions. And tomorrow, we're going to talk about coping with loneliness and holiday triggers. What activates us? So, we're going to talk about grief waves, sudden sadness, how to get through those hardest moments. So, that's where I am for today. If you want to turn your camera on and we can wave goodbye at each other or unmute yourselves and allow yourselves to say goodbye to each other. And thank you so much for being with me tonight. I really appreciate it. And I hope you're back with me again tomorrow at 7 o'clock again. And we're going to figure out some coping strategies of why we're feeling the emotions we do and what's triggering all that. So have a peaceful night, my friends. And again, thank you for joining me. Much love to you. When I have people coming on my Zooms, it lets me know, it validates to me that I'm doing the right thing and I'm helping somebody in some small way. So thank you very much. Blessings to you all. And I hope I see you all again tomorrow night. Thank you.